Hey Fearless Millionaires, I want to tell you a true story about a young Boy Scout named Billy who went on a camping trip but never used a sleeping bag. But first I want to tell you also where I am. As you can see behind me, I am right on this beautiful island in the Azores called Saint Miguel, or also known as in Portuguese São Miguel. Not many people on the beach today. As you can see the waves, there, they're crashing pretty large. Actually, the waves are a lot bigger than normal. Earlier this morning, a lot of surfers out there and stuff. There you can see some good waves there. Yeah, they're pretty big, a little bigger and rougher than normal. But the weather hasn't been too sunny today. So I want to tell you about this true story about this young boy named Billy. Billy was in the Boy Scouts, and he was going on his first camping trip experience. He was really excited, first of all. He was so excited, he was telling his parents and his friends how he was going on this camping trip. And he went out and got the gear on his checklist. He went out and purchased his gear. He purchased some new clothes. He purchased a sleeping bag, and he got all his stuff ready. And he set off on this journey. Said goodbye to his parents, and he was going to be gone for a good week on this camping trip experience. So when they all met and they all went into the woods and went to camp. The first night while they were there, everyone was pitching their tents and getting everything set up, and all the boys went into their tents that night, and the camp leader slept in his truck as he was to kind of keep a watch over everyone and make sure everything was okay. Well, early in the morning, camp leader was getting up to go relieve himself and take a whiz, and he saw Billy outside of his tent, kind of looking like really tired, just like a little zombie running around, and he was like shivering cold too. It was like early in the morning, you know how it's cold in the morning, it was shivering and it was cold. So the camp leader, goes over to him and says, "Billy, like, what's wrong?" And Billy didn't really respond. He was actually pretty quiet. So he goes over and he talks to another Boy Scout, and he says, "Hey, what's up with Billy? What's going on?" And he says, "I don't know. He didn't sleep in his tent last night." So the camp leader goes back to Billy and says, "Billy," he sits next to him. He says, "Billy, did something happen? What's wrong? Why didn't you sleep in the tent? And what's going on? You're cold, and how come you didn't change your clothes?" And Billy, just in a very calm and quiet tone, he simply said, "I didn't want to unroll my sleeping bag." That was it. He didn't want to unroll his sleeping bag. So the camp leader was like, why didn't you want it? Like, he was thinking, like, why didn't Billy want to unroll his sleeping bag? Like, was there something wrong with it? Did it have a hole in it? Was it like, Superman or something? Was he embarrassed? So the camp leader asks Billy, he says, "Billy, like, why didn't you want to unroll your sleeping bag?" And Billy responded, he said, "I didn't feel like rolling it back up after I was done using it." That was it. That was his response. So the moral of the story is Billy was lazy, and Billy suffered because of his laziness. He literally didn't want to roll out his sleeping bag because he didn't want to wrap it up the next day. And that's a true story. And even though that happened with young Billy as a Boy Scout, how true is that in real life as adults? When we get all excited about something, we get all involved, we go through the checklist, we buy the things that we need to make ourselves successful on our journey or our trip or our experience or our business that we're starting. We get everything we need, but then when it comes time to actually use it and actually use what we got, we don't use it, and we just sit on the sideline, or we don't really get the full experience of camping. Because why? We were lazy. The moral of the story here is don't be lazy. You're building your business. I'm sure you bought software. Maybe you got a website. Maybe you got a training, or you've been in some coaching. Have you really applied yourself? You've geared up. You've gotten yourself excited. You believe in it. You're motivated, and you want to do this business. But have you really applied yourself? Or do you think there's areas in your life that you have been lazy in? If you feel like you have been lazy in some areas. Really think about that for a minute. Why have you been lazy? Why have you been putting something off? Why have you been delaying to actually take action on something? I truly believe it's even more than laziness. I believe it's fear. I believe the only thing that's separating you from doing what you need to do, from putting it off to the next day, like procrastination and not doing it, is probably because there's no desire deep down there, and fear is separating you. Most of the time, those are the two things. Procrastination can come up because sometimes we just want to put it off because we're lazy, and then also there's a mixture of fear because there's a fear of failure or a fear of success. Identify what that is for you. Identify why are you putting things off. Know what it is for you so that you can identify it and then take some serious, massive action to make it become a reality. Because if you don't, guess what? You're just gonna be like Billy, sitting outside of the tent, cold and shivering, and not living the true experience of building your life and building your business. Go out there and make it happen. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the page, and also leave some comments below. Let me know if there's something that's holding you back to get started in your life and in your business. I'll see you real soon.